Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we are talking about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, or and the Multiverse of Madness. Pretty sure it's in, but I don't know. Yes, I have glasses now, and yes, they sit crooked on my face. I'm sorry. Try not to let it drive you crazy like it does me. This video will contain spoilers. Some of them are right behind these pieces of paper. Hopefully I'm not giving too much away with that little gap there. But, my very short, non-spoilery thoughts are, number one, make sure you watch WandaVision before going to see this. I would say WandaVision and Doctor Strange are the required viewings to go see this movie. Number two, it's not what I was expecting, but not in a negative way. And if I were to rank this on my weird scale of 1 to 7, where 4 is what my expectations are, and then higher than that up to 7 means it blew me away. Lower down to 1 means it disappointed me. While it was different from what I expected, it still delivered what I expected, which gets it a solid 4. And then there were enough other things in there for me to get it to a 5. So I enjoyed this quite a bit. Of the people that I regularly tune into, 2 of them have done reviews so far. 1 of them liked it, 1 of them very much did not. So I'm curious to see what the general consensus is going to be, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. I think I enjoyed it. To me, the first Doctor Strange movie, I did rewatch it, and I had planned on making a video for it, but I just don't have a lot to say about it. I don't dislike it, but to me, there's not a lot in it that I like watching. So I put it on in the background while I did some other stuff to kind of refresh my knowledge of the plot. But it's not something that I really want to sit down and watch, like in Avengers or something like that, just because of what's on screen. This one, I think, by the way, there's 2 Stranges and 2 Wandas, because it's a multiverse. So there's multiple ones. This one, I think, my opinion right now is that there was more visually interesting things to me to watch. Not that the first one didn't have visually interesting things. All the magic is visually interesting, but, like, it's different. It's different. So, that's where I'll leave it for my non-spoiler thoughts. So moving on, I will be getting into spoilers. So if you have not seen it and you do not want to be spoiled and you haven't figured out this yet, that doesn't give away too much. You should leave now and come back afterwards. Oh, also, while I'm not going to make a video on this movie because I just don't have that much to say, I might do one on this. I've only watched this once. This is the old TV movie of Doctor Strange. I've watched it once, but I think I might give it a rewatch, and maybe we'll do a video on that, so stay tuned for that. But spoilers from this point moving forward. Get out of here if you haven't watched it yet. Go! By the way, I watched it on a Thursday, and then all day today, Friday, as I'm recording this in school, I just kept asking my students, I was like, did anybody else watch it yet? I need to talk to somebody. And nobody did. So I told them all, go watch it over the weekend so we can talk about it on Monday. So, spoilers ahead. Let's get into my thoughts. The first line is said by a Latina character in Spanish. That is probably not a big deal to most people, but if you don't know, I live in a very predominantly Mexican town, and most of my students are Mexican, so I kind of pick up on these things more than I used to, and I just thought that was neat. Not saying it's a huge deal, just thought it was neat. Big monster is my next note. Which, by the way, for my notes, I didn't take notes in the movie theater, but as soon as I got out, I pulled up a voice recorder and just word vomited all the things that I could think of, and then I watched a couple other people's reviews of it, and made notes of some of the things they talked about, and then I went through the Wikipedia plot summary and pulled out anything else that I had forgotten. So that's how I got my notes. Big monster! Hold on. Be right back. Got my prop. I sometimes forget just how much of old comics are just fighting big monsters. Now, obviously, this is a different big monster, and it's a different property, but this comic cover kind of takes up a lot of space in my brain. So this is what I thought of in that scene where he's fighting not Shumagorath. Was this. And like I said, sometimes I forget that because in these movies it's so much more focused on villains and things like that. And then, every once in a while I'll go back and I'll read some old comics, and it's like, a lot of them are just fighting big monsters. Thor does it. Like, it was such a common thing. And that so rarely makes it into the movies. Guardians Volume 2 had a bit of that at the beginning, but it's just, sometimes I just like to see people fight a big monster. So that opening scene with the giant octopus thing, again, that's one of those things that to me is more visually interesting. Not saying it's better, right? Not saying it makes for a better story, but for a viewing experience, I prefer that over Caecilius and a bunch of dudes running through a hallway, right? That's going to pull me into the movie a lot more. My next note, I kind of mentioned this already, but this is just as much, if not more, a sequel to WandaVision than it is to Doctor Strange. And it's one of those things where sometimes the worst part about a movie is its title. And I don't think it's going to be a huge issue with this one. And they were very clear that Wanda was in it from the marketing, but I think there might be a fair amount of people that didn't realize how important WandaVision is going into this movie and are going to be very confused. And I feel like you could have done a different title or somehow just made it clear you need to watch WandaVision before you see this movie. Not that it'll help make more sense, right? Not that it's a good idea. If you haven't seen WandaVision, you're going to be totally lost. So I think the title could have helped hammer that point home. That said, I had seen WandaVision, so I didn't mind that, but I think some people will. My next note is the music scene. And boy, I'm a music teacher, and I've been a musician for a long time, and I have never seen a music scene like the music scene in this movie. I don't even really know if I liked it. Like, it's interesting. It was unique. It was something I'd never seen before. But I'm also just like, what exactly is happening? What is actually going on? Because the symbols from these pages are being used as weapons. But I'm like, could you have done that with any writing? Could you do it with letters? Or does it only work with music? No idea. But it was visually interesting. Something that I enjoyed the act of watching. Alright, let's talk about the Illuminati. So, Professor X, we all knew was going to be in it, in the trailers. What I did not expect was the hover chair and the accompanying X-Men 90s TV show theme. If nothing else, just getting to see Patrick Stewart in that chair, that was pretty awesome. Captain Carter. Oh, her shield fell down. I don't have a Peggy Carter action figure. Best I got is a bobblehead. But I tried to give her a shield. Captain Carter, I was not a big fan of that first episode of the What If series, so I like the actress's name that I cannot remember at this point in time. Yell at me for it. I can't remember. But I like her. But that character and the episode featuring her in What If, not the character of Peggy Carter, the character of Captain Carter, not things that I have much stock in. So that was fine. I thought it was weird that she outlasted so many others in that scene. Captain Marvel, again, I don't have a Photon character action figure, so I'm using Carol Danvers. That's the best I got. I'm sorry. Didn't have any huge feelings either way for her. Would have liked a more Photon-inspired outfit than a Captain Marvel-inspired outfit, but my main thought was like, oh my gosh, think of how many people thought that character in the trailer was Tom Cruise as some version of Iron Man. No, it's just an alternate Captain Marvel. Now let's get to the good ones. Black Bolt and Reed Richards. Now, Black Bolt, that got my heart. And Reed Richards really messed with my brain. So Black Bolt, I'm one of maybe 7 people in the world that actually enjoyed the Inhumans show. I'm not saying it was fantastic, but I enjoyed it. And I understand that a lot of people didn't like it. I don't really understand why so many people hated it so much. I thought it was fine. Again, not great, not fantastic, but fine. And I think it's okay for certain things to be fine. Justice League, with the most popular characters in the world, it's not great if that's just fine, right? Star Wars, one of the biggest movie franchises of all time. James Bond. These things, if they're fine, it's a problem. But Inhumans, with characters that nobody knows about, fine is okay. Fine is fine. So I actually like the show. Obviously, this is a different version of Black Bolt, but they brought Anson Mount back. And, I loved it. I loved it so much. I liked that they managed to take what is probably the best part of that show, is him playing that character, and still use him. Maybe they'll, give it a new treatment, and maybe he'll get another full shot. But if nothing else, he at least got to do it for real, in a real MCU movie that's not just going to be brushed under the rug of Hulu and Disney Plus, and, they hope no one ever watches it. Like, the fact that they went back to that, despite the negative feedback of that show, I just thought was really great. Now, Reed Richards. I want to say John Krasinski. This hurt my brain because it's been such a big rumor for so long that it felt like one of those things that couldn't possibly ever actually happen, right? When fan castings like that gain so much momentum, it's usually just setting up for disappointment. Ironically, one of the big exceptions to that is Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. So maybe I should have seen that coming. But I have put that out of my head as something that's even a possibility. I don't know that he's interested, but, it seems like he wouldn't want to sign on for a big, huge, long-term commitment. So this was a great way to get their cake and eat it too. I've heard other people describe this as giving them an excuse to not have consequences, which I can see. But on the other hand, if this is the only way we're going to get... It is John Krasinski, right? I'm not making that up. If this is the only way we get Jim as Reed Richards, fine. Just appreciate that. But but like the wheels in my head broke and stopped turning. I was like, no way. No, that's not really him. It is him though. But really? They really doing that? And then it kind of processed it a little bit more. The wheels started turning again. And then, of course, by the end of the scene, when Wanda has just destroyed all of them, I kind of put two and two together, and I was like, oh, yeah, he's not, actually going to do it. This is just a fun thing. Speaking of, man, she tore through those people. As I already said, weird that Captain Carter lasted so long. Surprised at how easily Captain Marvel went down. And probably a good thing that we barely saw any stretching powers. Because I just don't think you can make those look good on screen. And he just, the little thing when he comes in and it's even that doesn't look good. So thank goodness he didn't last very long. And then the whole, oh my gosh, what mouth? And then Black Bolt's mouth is gone. Ah, so cool. Really great fight scene. Thought that Captain Marvel would have lasted longer. I liked what they did with Professor X. And I kind of, when, is it Marina Rambeau? I can't remember her first name. When Captain Marvel says, as Doctor Strange is, telling them, she's coming, it's the Scarlet Witch, and she's like, oh, we can handle her, blah, blah, blah. I was just like, really? It seems like a weird thing to bring into play, halfway through the movie, that these guys are so unafraid of. And then it's just that they're just dead wrong. Which was weird. Kind of wish that had been played a little bit differently. But, hey, it is what it is. Couple things about the Illuminati, other than the characters themselves. I will say, I don't mind jokes. I like jokes. I think jokes can ease the tension. I like jokes a lot. I think DC needs more jokes than a lot of their stuff. What I hate is jokes where the joke is that a character who's supposed to be really, really smart is really, really stupid. And the best other example I have of this, of when Bruce Banner in, I want to say, Avengers Age of Ultron, tries to pronounce the word Wakanda, and he says, Wakanada? And it's like, I get that it's a secret country, so not many people are familiar with that word, but Bruce Banner can read, right? And he can look at the letters spelling the word Wakanda and figure that out without adding in an extra syllable. And in this movie, I think it's Christine, right? Or maybe it's more, I don't know. Somebody mentions the name Illuminati. And Doctor Strange says, Illumawati? Stephen Strange knows what that word means. He might not know who the team is, but he knows that word. Third graders know that word. They talk about it anytime they see a triangle. Okay? Illuminati should not be a confusing word to Dr. Stephen Strange. And if you're gonna say that he's just confused by why they're bringing it up, that joke of inserting a what into the middle of the word that you've just heard, that is not a joke that you use when you don't understand how that word makes sense in the context that you have. That is a joke that you use, when you did not understand the word itself. Right? And a good example of this is in Moana, when Maui says, Kakamora. And Moana says, Kakawata, right? She's not confused about the concept of people coming to attack her. She's confused because that's a weird word that she's never heard before. What? Stephen Strange knows what the word Illuminati is. I hate that kind of joke. When let's take a really smart character and have him stumble over a very simple word. Am I too upset about this? Yes, I am way more upset about this than I should be. I don't know why. Let's move on. I don't know why, but I had it in my head. I think probably somebody else said it as a speculation, and I took it as fact for some reason, that this Illuminati was going to be a multiversal Illuminati with members from different universes, which I don't know a lot about the mainline Illuminati, but what I understand, correct or not, is that most of the characters on there represent a certain group of people. Like Charles Xavier represents mutants, and Namor represents the Atlanteans, right? And Black Bolt represents the Inhumans. And so when we didn't know who was going to be on it for this, I think the idea was that each of them were from a different universe, representing a different universe. At least that's how I took it. But I'm pretty sure they're just all from 838. And, I get it. It's not an Illuminati movie. We don't need to go into the origins of it. But it's like, unless I missed it, it's not explained why those specific people are on there, other than they were all friends with Doctor Strange and it was his idea to make it. Which, by the way, I'm going to put this on myself, not necessarily on the movie. We'll see if I still think that after second viewing, but I'm very confused about what exactly happened with their version of Doctor Strange. I know they explained it in depth with a whole lot of talking, but I feel like it just in one ear, out the other. Something about an incursion, not actually died fighting Thanos, although they did fight Thanos. That's just not how he died. But then he died another way, and they still made a statue of him, even though he apparently did something bad. That's what I don't get. It's what bad thing did he do? He messed with another universe, which caused the incursion, but then it didn't cause an incursion because he stopped the incursion by sacrifice. I'm very confused about what actually happened to him, so I'm going to have to pay more attention to that part when I go watch it again. Speaking of 838, this is another thing that I'm probably more upset about than is deserved. But this is not the 616 universe. The MCU is not the 616 universe. It's one with 6 nines behind it or something. 19999, something like that. 616 is the comic universe, the mainline comic universe. And I guess it's fine if you want to throw in references to 616 like they do a lot, especially in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's the name of the bus, right? That's the call sign for the plane that they drive. That's fine if you want to throw some love towards the 616. But Christine says, your universe is 616. No, it's not! It's not! And not only is it not, but 616 is specifically something else, and the MCU is specifically something else, so it's just wrong! And why? For no reason. Why couldn't she just say, it's 19999? It's a lot of nines. I get it, but I believe in her. She can do it. Oh, it just frustrates me, because that is going to make things so confusing for people that kind of understand the different designations, but not really. Because then, if they're going to go look stuff up about Marvel 616 that they're going to think is the movies, but it's not the movies, I had to restart my video because for some reason my microphone stopped working. Maybe that's a sign that I'm too upset about them misusing 616. So let's move on. Clea. Here's as much as I know about Clea. Let me take a step back. Here's as much as I knew about Doctor Strange before the first movie came out, was that he was a magician. He had a servant named Wong. He had a lover named Clea. And that's all that I knew about Doctor Strange or Wong or Clea until the first movie. And then the first movie came out, learned some more about Doctor Strange. Wong is a very different, or is it Mordo? Was Mordo his servant? I'm pretty sure it was Wong, though. See, I don't even know. That's how little I know from Comic Strange. But I knew that Clea was the love interest. And so when the first movie goes and you got Christine, I was just like, that's not Clea, but okay, whatever. Fine. Didn't think much of it. I just noticed it. And then we get through this movie and Multiverses, and I was like, oh, maybe they're going to bring in Clea. And then it's just like, more Christines. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And I moved on. And then we get Clea at the end. And I was like, I'm excited. I don't know why. I don't know anything about this character. I just know that she exists as part of Doctor Strange supporting cast. And now she's there. So yay. One of the three things that I knew. The last of the three things that I knew is finally here. Not sure I love the choice of Charlize Theron. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited to see what they do with her, because I have no idea what that's going to be. Apparently she's Dormammu's daughter? I heard that in a video. I don't know. Okay, let's talk about Spider-Man. How does he know that there was a spell about Spider-Man? Does he remember making a deal with Spider-Man and just not that it was Peter Parker? People have talked this to death when talking about No Way Home, and I feel like we still don't know the answer to it. But the fact that he mentioned Spider-Man is just confusing to me. And I'm pretty sure that these release orders were supposed to be swapped and that this was supposed to come out first and then Spider-Man. So it seems like, why then go through a reshoot to add that? Just confused. I don't think I made it clear. I'm in the part of my notes where I'm like, I don't like these things as much. I talked about the things I liked. Now I'm talking about the things I didn't like as much. When they are running away from Wanda, running away from the Illuminati area, which, oh, by the way, forgot to say, I totally caught that Christine mentioned the Baxter Foundation or whatever before Reed Richards showed up. So I was like primed. I was like, ooh, a Fantastic Four Easter egg. Yay, I'm excited just for that name drop. So then you can imagine when Reed showed up on screen. Also forgot to mention, speaking of Illuminati characters, when Captain Carter popped on screen, we got the Captain America, the First Avenger theme playing in the background, like Professor X had the 92 X-Men. So I wrote that down. Gotta go back to that. But moving back to when they're running away from Wanda in the tunnels that go under the river, they're shutting doors, she's blasting through. They're shutting doors, she's blasting through. They're shutting doors, she's blasting through. And then they shut a door and stop and turn and look and wait. And what are you doing? Keep running. What makes this door different? Why are you not continuing to move? Because this chamber that you're in is not your end goal. Why have you stopped so confused, and then there's so much tension built up, but you're zooming in on that door, and America's like, where did she go? And they're zooming in on that door, and I'm like, okay, it's Sam Raimi. He wants it to be a horror movie. We're gonna get some kind of jump scare. Fine, at least make it interesting. And then she just goes, ah! What? Totally killed that scene for, like, not hype, hype's the wrong word. Intense, excitement, boom, what's gonna happen? Nothing, waiting, boo. And then back to the theme. I'm just, what was that? What was that? Then later, I don't even remember if it's in the same scene or not, but I don't think so. When they get through the door to the place between universes where the Book of Ashanti is, Steven's got to open the door with his magic watch, key, lock, system thing, right? Very difficult door to open. I guess maybe it is the same scene. Anyway, he jumps out. America jumps out. And I'm thinking, shut the door on your way out, Christine. Christine jumps out. Door's left open. So then I'm thinking, Strange is going to like throw a magic rope thing and pull the door shut, right? Because Wanda won't be able to get through that door. Nope. And they're just all standing there as the door, still wide open, floats above and I'm just like, you literally left the door open. What are you doing? And sure enough, like a couple minutes later, boom, Wanda's just there. Nobody noticed her come in. And she's there because nobody even bothered to shut the door. You shut all the other doors. Why don't you shut the one door that she might not be able to? How does taking powers work? Because the big scary thing in this movie is that Wanda wants to take America Chavez's power. How does that work? Is that a power that Wanda has? Because we've never seen her use it before. Is that a power that the Darkhold grants her? Because it's not a spell, right? Because some of the other monsters that she sends after America also do that. And they're not sorcerers or witches, right? But they're imbued with runes? So does that mean that they were able to do that? And if Wanda, through the Darkhold or her own means, is able to take America's power, could she take other people's power? Could she take, say, Spider-Man's powers? Could she take, are Doctor Strange's magical skills a power that she could take from him and then he wouldn't have them anymore? How does taking powers work? I don't understand, because it's not something that we've ever seen before in these movies, and it's not ever explained how or why she has this ability. It just pops up, and no one says anything about it, and we're just expected to go with it. Be like, oh yeah, taking her power, that's something she can do. Or is it explained? Do they say that it's part of the Darkhold, and I just missed it, because I was too focused on my popcorn? I don't know, but I'm confused. I've reached the end of my notes. I'm sorry for shouting. I really did like this movie. I'm very curious to see what other people think, because like I said, of the 2 reviews I watched, one liked it, one didn't, and I have not been able to talk to anyone about it in person. Why did I go on Thursday? I went on Thursday so that I wouldn't be spoiled online, but like, I'm trying to find other people talking about it and it's not there, so let me know what you thought in the comments below. That's what I've got to say. And no promises, but check back soon. Maybe I'll do this really old TV Doctor Strange movie soon. That's going to do it for this. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.